Greetings. Welcome to EDTV News Channel, the People's Channel. In this report, we'll talk about body-worn cameras. And we're telling you how Police Commissioner Kevin Blake exposed Andrew Holness as a liar. Stay tuned for the full report. Blessings to all subscribers and viewers. If you're here for the first time, you can support the channel by like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Now, before we get into the report, people, I am not affiliated with no political party, whether they're a J or whether they're a P. You know what I'm saying? Politics is not for poor people. Politics is a rich people game. All of the rich people them benefit from politics. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we have to call out these politicians when them try to deceive and lie to the people at Jamaica. So, people, body-worn cameras, it becomes a topic. Now, this all started when Indicom come out and says all police officers should wear body cameras. And we say where the Minister of National Security, Horace Chang, come out and respond and say it's of very little value, meaning it's useless. But before we get into that response from the Security Minister, listen to what Indicom says.
But what was a feature of last year and still remains a feature of this year, which the Commissioner has touched on, of the 252 fatal and non-fatal shooting incidents in 2023, it is a remarkable feature that not a single one involved the deployment of a working body-worn camera. One camera was deployed in a fatal shooting incident, but the officer failed to turn it on, and that matter, as has been stated, was reported to the Commissioner and the JCF. Officers have cited that they are either not trained in the use of the body-worn camera, despite wearing them, the station is not equipped with body-worn cameras, and that the issuing officer responsible was not present on the occasion to deliver the body-worn cameras. And the Commission strongly asserts that the body-worn camera will enhance evidence-gathering processes, allay the continuing public concerns of alleged abuses of security forces, and support traffic enforcement. And so far this year, 4 body-worn cameras were affixed to officers where they were engaged in non-fatal shooting incidents. In 3 of those 4, the officers did not turn the cameras on, and on the 4th occasion, the officer turned the camera on post the event. So we see a post-incident matter where an injured person has been shot by the police. Those matters have also to be reported to the Commissioner of Police. So whilst body-worn cameras are being deployed in certain circumstances, there seems to be a pattern that they're not being activated. As of yesterday, the number of people killed in planned operations this year is 58 from 50 operations. So 40% of people killed so far this year have come from planned operations where these specialised teams are entering properties, yards, premises, and the person is ending up dead. In not one of those planned operations, as already identified, was body-worn cameras deployed. And we make the point that body-worn cameras are available to the Jamaican Constabulary Force. They are equipped to some 100, 200, and those body-worn cameras need to be deployed with the specialised operation teams, the fugitive apprehension teams, the CTOC and specialised, so that when these operations take place, there will be an accountability as to what has occurred. Because whilst we have the account and narrative from the police, many of these shootings in the planned operations, a different account is being provided by the...
So now we only hear, people, what Indicom says. We'll get to Horace Chang, how him respond to that. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang has declared body-worn cameras to be of very little value in fatal incident involving the police. His position comes after the Independent Commission of Investigation, Indicom, again raised concern about the lack of footage from functioning body-worn cameras in shooting incident involving the police. In its second quarterly report for 2024, Indicom noted that in the 252 shooting incidents this year, no body-worn cameras was activated. The Commission called for a full implementation body-worn cameras by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, and all law enforcement bodies. Where they have been warned, the majority of cases have shown that officers fail to turn on the body-worn cameras, especially where a shooting incident occurs, stated Hugh Faulkner, Indicom commissioner. But speaking at a post-cabinet press briefing this morning, Chang dismissed the concern. Body-worn cameras, is a very little value. You don't need to be an expert to understand. You put a camera on your chest, you start shooting at somebody, they start shooting at you, you're gonna die for cover. Policemen, they have helmets and vests, but they are not designed to take shots, he said. He said the primary benefits, listen to this, he said the primary benefits of the body-worn cameras is the maintenance of public order, such as it used in the apprehension of street vendors. And we have heard very little in that sort where police is seen brutalizing citizens. He stated that the Minister of National Security will be meeting with Indicom to further discuss the issue. So the Minister of National Security come out point blank and say, me don't want my officers them wear that because it's of little value. You know what I'm saying? No, that was so disrespectful to the Jamaican people. You know what I'm saying, people? And I can't believe a man like this make a reckless statement like that. You know what I'm saying? It was so reckless that Prime Minister Andrew Holness now come out and try to clean it up and find for himself in a hot water. So I have a video where I play people when Andrew Holness was speaking. But before I play the video, listen to this, people. I'm going to quote this from RJR Newsroom. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says it will take at least $1 billion to fully incorporate the use of body-worn cameras by members of the security forces. You hear how much it costs, people? Over $1 billion. He adds that the government is fully committed to the deployment of the devices. Mr. Holness disclosed that the government is procuring additional cameras at a cost of more than $200 million. Last week, Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang brushed aside a call by the Independent Commission of Investigation, Indicom, for the full implementation of body-worn cameras by the security forces, stating that it is of very little value. But Mr. Holness has sought to assure that there is no conflict or indecisiveness on the part of the government in the deployment of the body-worn cameras. He also underscored that the implementation and deployment of the technology cannot be done at a snap of a finger. For us to deploy effectively, because we could always do for sure, buy body-worn cameras and pin them on your uniforms, but when you go to collect the footage, there is nowhere to store it. There is no storage. Okay, all right. Let's say we store it locally. There is no consistent management. A computer goes down, you lose all of that. So for us to deploy cameras, it is not about the deployment of the camera, he asserted. Continuing, the Prime Minister insisted the camera is the least of the system of being able to capture real-time footage of police doing their duties. May I read that one more time? Continuing, the Prime Minister insisted the camera is the least of the system of being able to capture real-time footage of police doing their duties. First of all, we have to build a back end to store the data. We need to have a data center. Then we need to be able to connect the cameras to docks and docks to that data center. There is an entire infrastructure that has to build with the broadband connectivity to move the footage from the docks to a secure data center. Mr. Holness was speaking Tuesday at the graduation ceremony for the second cohort of inspectors of the Jamaica Constabulary force. Listen to what him said in his own words now, people.
Government of Jamaica is committed to the deployment and use of body-worn cameras for the Jamaica Constabulary Force and indeed, where necessary, for the JDF. There is no conflict, there is no indecisiveness. It is something that we are doing and will continue to do. There is a sense, however, that these implementation and deployment of technologies like body-worn cameras can be done with merely the snap of a finger. For us to deploy effectively, we could always do for show, buy body-worn cameras and pin them on your uniform. But when you go to collect the footage, there is nowhere to store it. There is no storage. Okay, all right, let's say we store it locally. There is no consistent management. A computer goes down, you lose all of that. So for us to deploy cameras, it is not about the deployment of the camera. The camera is the least of the system of being able to capture real-time footage of police doing their duties. First of all, we have to build a back end to store the data. We need to have a data center. We need to be able to connect the cameras to docks and docks to that data center. There's an entire infrastructure that has to be built with broadband connectivity to move the footage from the docks to a secure data center. That is about, more than $1 billion of investment that will have to be made, which we have started to. We have in procurement now over $200 million for cameras. And we procured last time about $70 million worth of cameras. And we continue to procure. So I want the country to be assured that the government is 100% committed to having body-worn cameras become a standard feature of the police officer's kit. But for it to be done, it does take serious planning. Now consider, with everything that the government has to do, if we're going to be spending billions of dollars on the technology, we also have billions of dollars to spend on the roads that people complain about, the garbage to be collected. So it can't all be done all at once. You elect governments to make the decisions and the trade-offs, what you do now, what you do in the future, to get everything done. And I think that we have made the correct decision as to how we are moving ahead with the deployment of the technology, not for show, but for the real effective use of the technology. Because you can have cameras and it don't help because you don't have this entire ecosystem for it to be used. And so we are building out that ecosystem.
So now you hear people when him say the cameras is the least. The data storage system is the most important part for store, the storage, store the devices. Now, people, it seems like Andrew Holness now remember what him did say, and he's a man who just come out and talk, you know what I'm saying, with a passive voice, and every time him do this, people, him find himself in a hot water and show up himself as a liar, you know what I'm saying, and try to deceive the people at Jamaica. Now, people, the police commissioner exposed Andrew Holness as a liar. So we'll get into the report, and we'll quote this one from Nationwide News. Police commissioner denies JCF stonewalling use of body-worn cameras. Commissioner of Police Dr. Kevin Blake has denied allegation that the JCF is engaging in a strategy of stonewalling where the use of body-worn cameras is concerned. The commissioner issued the response in force orders issued on November 14, right? That's almost the same day that Andrew Holness come out and respond and say them need almost over $1 billion to get the data storage system up and running. According to Dr. Blake, the level of effort and investment being spent on the technology demonstrates there is no resistance to the cameras. Listen carefully, people. According to the country's chief constable, the JCF currently has 618 body-worn cameras available for use by its members across 24 formations. And listen to that, people. According to the country's chief constable, the JCF currently has 618 body-worn cameras available for use by its members across 24 formations. The force is now in process of procuring an additional 750 cameras. According to the commissioner, more than $2 billion have been spent over the last 3 years to ensure the proper storage and network infrastructure is in place to support the use of the body-worn technology. But Andrew Holness just said in the same day, people, that them need over $1 million to do the same thing that $2 billion had already spent on. So now Kevin Blake exposed Andrew Holness as a liar, people. May I read it over again. According to the commissioner, more than $2 billion have been spent over the last 3 years to ensure the proper storage and network infrastructure is in place to support the use of the body-worn technology. So, Prime Minister Andrew Holness don't know, sir, the government spent over $2 billion for the last 3 years to do the same thing where him say him need over $1 billion for do. People, this is surely embarrassment, man. Trust me. Dr. Blake told the men and women of the force that the level of effort and investment in the technology challenges the narrative that there has been passive resistance inside the JCF to using the cameras. The commissioner says body-worn cameras can be effective. He says whatever issues are causing a slow take-up in the utilization of the technology by the police must be urgently addressed. Commissioner Blake reminded the JCF members that a policy is in place governing the use of body-worn cameras. He says the policy must be properly observed. Dr. Blake noted that the failure to turn on the body cameras in four-cited incident by Indicom has given life to a narrative that there is resistance in the force to using the technology. He says when policy is not adhered to, it creates a situation where he says small things become a source of distraction. Dr. Blake reminded the men and women under his command that when the cameras are not used, their word of what happened is the only one that will not be seen. Blake says the police should have no hesitation in wearing the cameras as it would exonerate when false allegations are made against them. So people, Kevin Blake just exposed Andrew Holness again as a liar. How can we believe in a man like this? You know what I'm saying, people? Believe anything where him say. Him just say, almost in the same day, people, that the government need over $1 billion to set up the data storage system. And the same day, the commissioner come out and said, no, we have spent over $2 billion from the last 3 years. And the system is up and running. So there is no hesitation, no excuse by the men and women in the uniform not to wear these body cameras. You know what I'm saying, people? This is sad. Very, very sad to see Andrew Holness stand up, people, and tell the Jamaican people them a story that is not accurate, a bold-faced lie. Please leave in the comment section and tell me what you think. One aim, one God, one destiny. Walk good, talk good, live good. Blessings.